Next on the 5 o'clock report.
Public schools are not Sunday schools.
Every year we try to make sure agriculture remains at the center of this fair like it was 100 years ago.
When I looked down at his chest and was evaluating him, and I saw the cross and the way that bullet scored it, that cross did definitely change the course of his life.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. Hurricane Erin is stirring up 30-foot waves on the East Coast as it churns offshore. The water not safe anymore, but the storm will stay out to sea.
This storm's impact will be felt in the water, not in the sky.
You'd be nuts to go in that water.
North Carolina Governor Josh Stein has declared a state of emergency.
We are anticipating coastal flooding from massive waves, tropical storm force winds, and tidal and storm surge for much of the state shoreline.
This woman from Florida has survived a number of hurricanes. She's in New Jersey on vacation right now and says she'll sit this one out.
It's impressive, but it also makes you respect it. You're not going to be able to fight the sea at all.
Erin, an unusually large Category 2 hurricane tracking north, parallel along the eastern coast. Dozens of rip current rescues have been conducted this week in North Carolina alone. About 24 minutes ago, the outer bands of the storm reached the Outer Banks. Texas courts just delayed enforcement of a new law that requires the 10 Commandments be displayed in every public school classroom in that state.
Public schools are not Sunday schools. Schools are for education, not indoctrination.
Texas State House Democrat James Tallarico. Republicans argued it well in debate in May before that law was passed.
Nothing is more deep-rooted in the fabric of our American tradition of education than the 10 Commandments. The very way we treat others as a society come from the principles found in the 10 Commandments.
CBS's Russell Scott has details.
U.S. District Judge Fred Beery issued the preliminary injunction just before the law was set to take effect September 1st. A lawsuit had argued that the law violated the First Amendment, prohibiting the government from establishing or endorsing a religion. Judge Beery stated that the display would likely pressure students into religious observance.
Also in Texas, the Republican-controlled House is expected to pass new redistricting maps today that will hand 5 more seats to the GOP. Correspondent Chris Fox.
The clock appears to have run out on Texas House Democrats who fled the state for 2 weeks to prevent a vote on the new congressional maps. House Bill 4 was filed by State Rep Todd Hunter.
Each of these newly drawn districts now trend Republican in political performance.
State House Democrats vow to fight the maps in court. State Rep Gene Wu.
The tool they're using is a racist, gerrymandered map.
CBS's Finn Gomez says it's not over till it's over. He expects a court date soon.
Once the maps are passed, legal challenges from Democrats and allies are expected to be filed. Lawyers and advocacy groups are preparing lawsuits and gearing up for a litigious fight. So it's not over, but it does get a lot more difficult to counter these new seats pushed by the Texas Republicans.
Israel has finalized plans to take over Gaza City in the Palestinian territory. The Jewish state is calling up to 50 or 60,000 reservists to help seize the city from Hamas control. The military occupation is expected to displace about 1 million residents. Hamas this week endorsed a deal to end the fighting in exchange for the release of some, but not all, the hostages it took when it invaded Israel 2 years ago. Pro-immigrant legislation in the works in California could undermine parental rights. The measure, designed to protect migrants from deportation, allows unrelated adults to assume custody of a child. It's called the Family Preparedness Act of 2025.
They're coming after our kids. And we've consulted attorneys. As you can imagine, we're getting ready. We're circling our wagons. We've studied the bill. Bottom line is this: you cannot let your kids now go to school and assume they're going to be safe or not taken away before you come to pick them up.
Pastor Jack Hibbs with the Calvary Chapel in Chino Hills.
This is actually a kidnapper's, a trafficker, pedophile's dream come true. Can you imagine dropping off your child at a school in Los Angeles and you come back to picking them up at the end of the day? They're not there anymore. You ask who took the child. The school doesn't have to tell you who took the child. You don't know where the child is. That child could be in the Mojave Desert or Tijuana by the time you pick them up. This is an absolute absolute dangerous bill.
Supporters of the Family Preparedness Act argue it's a necessary response to growing concerns about family separations due to immigration enforcement action. And beware of the shrimp. The FDA is warning the public not to eat certain great value frozen shrimp sold at Walmart stores in a dozen states. Pennsylvania included in the recall. New York is not. The warning was issued after a radioactive material was found in shipping containers. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, the Great New York State Fair opens its doors. Josh Shapiro up in arms about Trump's position on mail-in voting and the correct way to size a backpack. Those stories on deck next, but weather first with Kevin Williams.
Here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Here is the call for tonight, but stays pretty cloudy. A couple of scattered showers, some patches of fog and drizzle. Low temperatures 50s and low 60s. Tomorrow, variable cloudiness, a chance for a shower. High temperatures low to mid 70s. But by Friday, plenty of sunshine, pleasantly warm. High temperatures approaching 80. Warm and partially sunny Saturday. Some showers and thunder then on Sunday.
Thank you, Kevin. Check into stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. The 2025 New York State Fair got underway in Syracuse today. 1 million people will file through the turnstiles between now and Labor Day. And one thing fairgoers will notice is some enhanced safety measures.
Everything we do, every minute of the day, we are monitoring every fairgoer safety. So from last year to this year, we're installing new vehicle barriers. We want to make sure we're really controlling where the vehicles are and are not allowed to go.
The fair director tells WSTM another new feature is a text alert system.
We want every fairgoer to enroll in our new text alert, so this will help us monitor and get out quick messages about any cancellations, any weather alerts, anything.
State Agriculture Secretary Richard Ball says farming is what the fair is all about.
Every year we try to make sure agriculture remains at the center of this fair like it was 100 years ago.
The New York State Fair is the oldest in the U.S., dating back to 1841. Admission is $8 for adults, and kids 12 and under get in free. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro says President Trump cannot end mail-in voting. He says the Constitution gives states the power to set their own election rules. Trump says mail-in voting undermines election integrity. Josh Shapiro says Pennsylvania will continue to have free and fair elections, both by mail and in person. The ICE fight is heating up in Rochester, New York. Our own Mark Webster has that story.
Yeah, the Trump administration's had nothing good to say about Rochester's so-called sanctuary city policies. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi recently sent a letter to Mayor Malik Evans demanding the city stop impeding federal immigration enforcement and threatening criminal charges against anyone who does. But today, Rochester's Corporation Counsel, Patrick Beath, fired off his own letter to Bondi, saying her warning to the city was an ethics violation as an attorney due to pending litigation and should have just been sent to him, not Evans. Beath also insists the city works closely with the federal government on many programs and rejects Bondi's assertion that Rochester's attempting to thwart federal immigration enforcement. Mark Webster, Family Life News.
Another school year means another round of kids hauling heavy book-laden backpacks to class, and that can cause some problems.
It can cause shoulder, back, or neck injury. It's a common myth that it causes scoliosis, but it does not.
Dr. Amantha DeWeese with UPMC Rehab tells WTAJ a good assignment for parents is to monitor their kids' backpack use to head off potential problems.
Occasionally, you pick up your child's backpack and make sure that it's not too heavy. You want to watch them and make sure that when they pick up the backpack, they're not straining and struggling. So you want to encourage them to also tell you if they're having back pain, numbness and tingling in the neck, back, shoulder, anywhere like that. It should not be ignored.
Another tip is getting a backpack that isn't any wider than your child's torso. You and I are streaming like never before. Reporter Michelle Polino takes a closer look.
Streaming continues to rise from the ashes of TV and cable, and it just hit another record in July. According to Nielsen, streaming made up 47% of all TV use. The sixth straight month of record highs. At the top for streaming, YouTube. At 13%, and Netflix with close to 9% posted their best numbers ever, together matching cable share and easily outdrawing broadcast.
And anyone with kids in youth sports is likely to have worked at a concession stand. But running concessions at the Little League World Series in Williamsport, that takes a major league effort. It's a labor of love for most and a way to raise funds for various groups, including like Homing College Baseball, where volunteer Eric Micklun is a junior. He tells WNEP it's fun to share in the young ball players' experience.
All the kids have a separate journey, a different journey. It's really cool to see because these kids get to do stuff that not a lot of people get to do.
Fellow volunteer Angelina Thomas from the Walnut Street Christian School in Avis, Pennsylvania, likes meeting all of the families that are passing through.
A lot of people are just traveling from vacation up from Virginia or Maryland, anywhere, passing through, heading home to New York, and they're just like, well, we just had to stop by.
The Little League World Series continues through Sunday. This is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
As each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. 1 Peter 4:10. Hi, I'm Rob West with your Faith and Finance Minute. When you think of stewardship, what comes to mind is probably money, and that's important. But biblical stewardship requires giving what are often described as the 3 T's: time, talent, as well as treasure. God has entrusted each of us with unique gifts. That includes our skills, our schedules, and our resources. And faithful stewardship means offering all of them for His glory. You may feel like you don't have much to give, but Scripture is clear. Everyone has something. And when you use your gifts to serve others, in whatever form that may be, you reflect the grace of the giver himself. Connect with a certified Kingdom advisor who's been trained to deliver financial advice that aligns with your Christian values by visiting our website, faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, the cross that saved a man's life before he died. That story after weather with Kevin Williams.
A very good afternoon to all. Here is your Family Life regional weather forecast on the midday weather map. We're tracking the disturbance that has brought recent rain and thunderstorms to the area. The system is passing through the area today in its wake. Higher pressure will build in and tee up some nice weather to close the work week and to commence the weekend. But in the meantime, for this afternoon, cloudy, relatively cool and humid. The bulk of any showers or thunder showers will be pushing east out of the area where they have not already, but they'll be lingering for a while east of I-81 into tonight. Temperatures today holding in the 60s to mid-70s for most of the afternoon, dropping back towards 60 tonight. 50s in parts of western and central New York. Tomorrow, variable cloudiness, chance for a shower after some early fog, high temps, low to mid-70s. Sunshine prevails Friday with high temps 70s and low 80s.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Finally at 5, a Florida man says his Christian faith literally saved his life. Aiden Perry was accidentally shot in the chest at a friend's house. Doctors were able to save his life because the bullet split the Golden Cross pendant that Perry was wearing around his neck.
When I looked down at his chest and was evaluating him, and I saw the cross and the way that bullet scored it, and it deflected it across his chest and into his arm, I knew then that, yes, that cross did definitely change the course of his life.
Trauma surgeon Dana Taylor performed the operation to save Aiden Perry's life.
If he wasn't wearing that cross, the bullet would not have been deflected to the left, and where it went through his arm, it would have went into his chest and probably caused devastating injury to his heart and probably great vessels, and definitely would have been a different outcome for Aiden.
Perry got the cross from his dad as a Christmas present last year. And that's the world that we live in for Wednesday, the 20th of August. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.